Every year, UCLA publishes their diversity report on Hollywood. And the next one is about to come out later today. But Variety got an inside peek at the findings. They found that there is, shocker, not enough diversity in Hollywood yet. They found that there is still a massive overrepresentation of white men, not only in leading roles on screen on the most popular streaming shows, but also as series creators. Mm-hmm. They are involved in some of the most popular projects that are on streaming services, and yet we're being told that people want more diversity in what they watch.
I am doubtful that people want more diversity, considering the ones that have the white men writing and stuff are the most popular.
Yeah.
Maybe they like the popular shows.
The biggest
the fact that they're popular indicates that they like them.
The cope that was listed in this article, the major cope, is they listed shows like Suits being the #1 show of 2023, but then their excuse for that is because a show like that has 9 seasons, it inflates your ability to watch more of it because it's got 9 seasons, therefore there could be more watch time. Not really taking into account the fact that if Suits was only 3 seasons and some other show was 3 seasons that nobody watched, it wouldn't matter because maybe you started both of them, but only one of them is good enough to have you continuously watching.
The latest Hollywood diversity report from UCLA's Entertainment and Media Research Initiative found that, quote, streaming audiences want new offerings, diverse stories, as most watch metrics fall short of capturing the market.
I don't believe I would love to see their methodology as to how they got to this, because I don't believe that if you went and asked average everyday people what matters to them on television, that diverse stories they would say, we want good stories. It depends on whether they understand that the word diverse is a loaded buzzword that has a specific connotation, as opposed to just saying, oh, I want a variety of different stories. Mm-hmm. When we understand that places like this that do yearly diversity reports, and we just talked about another one of these that came out like 2 weeks ago. I believe it was on a day, it was like one of the days that you were gone, like on a Friday. We talked about another one of these that another industry label put through. And it's whether they understand the difference between a variety of stories and diversity, trademark, copyright, et cetera, et cetera.
Right. What people say on a survey doesn't always reflect what they think, and certainly not reflecting their decisions as customers.
Yeah.
Streaming audiences supposedly have a desire for diverse stories, and female viewers are a significant force in regard to total viewership. But this study indicates women over-indexed in regard to 9 of the top 10 shows ranked by both total household minutes viewed and total household ratings. So these female viewers are watching shows about white men created by white men, basically. Also,
their assumption here, I feel like their underlying assumption is that women being overrepresented in viewership means that inherently means that women want to watch women make the shows or women star in the shows, when that's not even necessarily the truth. It shouldn't really matter what gender you are. You should want to watch a story because it's good, not because the person that's leading the show is like you. For instance, again, they mentioned the show Suits here. Guess what? I am not a lawyer, nor am I a genius with an eidetic memory who can fake being a lawyer and taking the LSATs for people, yet I loved that show. It's got nothing to do with the color of their skin or anything else. I just like the story.
Key findings indicate that showrunners, creators, and lead actors across television tend to be predominantly white and male. However, data shows that top streaming shows with BIPOC leads consistently outperform others in regard to median ratings, and series following, quote, underrepresented stories also rank higher in ratings.
They don't explain what. So when they say BIPOC groups, first of all, they use Latinx, which is a problem as it is anyways, because nobody actually likes the use of that term. But what do they even mean, tend to be underrepresented in 2024? I guess in relation to the total population, that actually probably makes sense. I would probably guess that Asian men are probably underrepresented as well.
I know for a fact that there is an underrepresentation in terms of U.S. demographics for Latino leads.
Yeah.
Like, that is true.
That was something they talked about a lot when Black Panther Wakanda Forever was coming out because of Namor. Not Namor, Namor.
God.
Wait, what do you mean?
Well, because they changed the character, and so now Namor is Hispanic, and they were talking about it. Became a storyline.
So they changed the character just to add more diversity to the cast.
It was very diverse.
Basically. Focusing on total minutes watched gives an advantage to older shows that have more episodes and seasons.
Again, that is
Suits.
cope.
But they say current shows, which our research has shown to be more diverse, face a disadvantage in some ways from the onset for that reason.
Because there aren't as many seasons of it.
And then inevitably, that just feeds into the legacy of inequity that was built into the industry. Overall, BIPOC groups, particularly Latinx creatives, tend to be underrepresented in 2024 when it comes to TV deals. The report looked at the top 250 TV series available on major streaming services in 2023. The report criticized streamers for touting minutes viewed as a key metric.
It is a key metric.
That's insane.
It matters to the look. When you go to Netflix, you're going like one of the things that I love about streaming right now is like for as much garbage, as much money as they spend on creating new stuff that nobody cares about, what a lot of these services have started doing again is licensing stuff out.
Thank you.
They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats. Eat the cat. Eat the cat. They're eating the dogs.
Thank you.
Eating the cats. Eat the cat.
So they're licensing stuff out again because they get more mileage. Like if you go on Amazon Prime right now, it's absolutely stacked. It's jam-packed with shows that have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 seasons. You're going to get more watch time out of that. Therefore, Amazon's return on investment for spending the money to do that is better. It makes more sense.
They also show the pie graphs here showing the predominance of white males. The show creators by race and ethnicity finds that 92.3% of show creators are white. And then the television leads are 77.5% white. But those are the most popular shows.
Yes.
So I've been saying this. I kind of get pushback every time I say this. But I really think that people just like watching movies that have white male leads. I really just think that.
My logic is more this. It's that when you make a story, and we'll get to the 20th
Movies and TV shows.
So when you make a story starring an underrepresented group, look at what Cynthia Erivo is doing now, talking about how they put micro braids on Elphaba so that it could represent black people. When you tell stories for underrepresented groups, that becomes part of the focus of the actual storytelling. Yeah. And the ability for the story to connect and be good is bogged down in all of this extraneous nonsense that has nothing to do with telling a good story. When you tell stories about characters that are straight and white or even just white, you don't get into the identity politics because it's not material to what to the story you're telling. So you have a stronger possibility that the story that you're actually sharing with the audience is good and will just focus on what it's supposed to be, not all of this other stuff that has nothing to do with it. It's just they have a default setting that pushes them towards better storytelling.
We have a 20 from Rico Kell. Crisis team, thanks for being you. I liked the trailer. Am I being silly for pointing out the cop, Lex, rock thrower were all one persuasion and the beau and many in the crowd were another? I have PTSD from the message.
Yeah, you'll go nuts focusing on all that. And trust me, I do at least I'd be noticing how they, who gets cast as who. But we'll get into the trailer here in a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Phil, looked like you wanted to say something.
No, I want to.
Okay.
I want to and hero because of these same stories constantly.
Yeah, what you mentioned about the micro braids
just
made me laugh because they did the same thing with Halle Bailey when she played Ariel in the Little Mermaid remake. They made sure not to just give her a normal red wig.
Yeah,
they gave her micro braids as well. and it's to represent the black girl magic of the story.
It's so tiresome and exhausting. It's just narcissism and people demanding that everything be about them, and it's just exhausting. Like, a good reason to have white characters is because that's the majority of the United States still. Like, the plurality of the United States is white, and then the identity doesn't have to be part of the story.
That's
like just
what I
like
was
you said.
saying, yeah.
You know, it's like if you put people of color or LGBT people, then that has to be a dimension of the story.
They're not allowed to just tell the story with those characters.
Exactly. And it's exhausting because then every story is the same. It's all the same garbage told over and over and over and over. I'm a victim, I'm a victim, I'm a victim, and it's exhausting. It's so stupid.
I'll give you
so tiresome.
An example of of one that works that I might have mentioned on here before is the show Power. The show Power, starring Omari Hardwick, Joseph Sikora. It's about a drug kingpin played by Omari Hardwick.
Did you get the one from Rico Kell?
Yes.
Okay, sorry, my bad.
So it's about a drug kingpin who the character's name is Ghost, and his whole ambition is he lives a double life. He runs a nightclub at night. He's got a family. He's got kids in private school. And by day, he has laundromats and is a drug kingpin. And he aspires to getting out of that life and going legit and becoming just a regular mainstream business person. And that's a great hook for a show. His skin color has nothing to do with it. And then his partner, played by Joseph Sikora, doesn't want any of that. All he wants is the life. All he wants is to live the life selling drugs and being a kingpin. He loves it. He embraces it. It's all he cares about early on. And there's actually these great scenes where he's talking about how dejected he feels that he can't get out of it. And this character, who's been his friend and business partner for years, he starts laughing at him. He's like, why would you want to live any other life? It's got nothing to do. And in this, the main character, Omari Hardwick, is black and Joseph Sikora is white. Doesn't have anything to do with it. Doesn't matter. I don't think anybody really said. Maybe it did in the later seasons, but it was a great hook for a show. And the race of the characters doesn't help or hurt it. It just makes it. It's just awesome. And you can do that, but you can't focus on all of this extraneous bullshit that ruins it for people in the outset.
Doesn't need to factor into the story.
Yes, and you're right, Pat the Plumber. The ending was bad, but that's not the point. The hook of the show is great. And I haven't watched the spin-offs. I know that there's been multiple spin-offs. It's one of those shows that 50 Cent is a main character in and a producer of.
I still say people do want to watch movies and TV shows led by white men because they're white men, and white men are awesome.
And you're right, Johnny. Tommy is crazy as hell in the show. Yeah. And these, look, take this with a grain of salt, too. Every year around this time, we cover these reports. Just like all the NGOs of the world and any nonprofit organization, they would put themselves out of business by saying that things were okay. If you're the Diversity and Inclusion Initiative, it's kind of your job to be like, we need more.
Well, yeah, they need to justify their own existence, and all of these people are angry nerds walking around with clipboards, furiously writing notes on everyone, trying to punish people for just creating shows that people want to watch.
It's just
That's what they're doing. That's their job.
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.